I got my kid back.
How'd that feel?
I hadn't had that feeling in 10 years. I felt like everything was going to be okay.
Nearly 25 million people in the U.S. struggle with substance use. Of those 25 million, only 10 to 15% access help. And those who seek help are often met with enormous stigma, shame, and misunderstanding. If your loved one struggles with substances, we understand how difficult it can be for you as well. At CMC Foundation for Change, we give families the hope and skills they need to create an environment that invites, encourages, and sustains positive change for their loved one and themselves. Our approach combines science and kindness to bring about change for everyone.
What was prevalent and is still prevalent in the field is this idea of homogeneity, and everybody's actually got an underlying thing which is called addiction that defines them and unites them, and that the methodologies we're using to help them should all be the same, which couldn't be further from the truth. There isn't a specific profile for somebody struggling with addiction. And people get into and get out of struggles with addiction in all kinds of ways. What I can do is engage you and talk with you and see what matters to you. And if I can do that successfully, as a treatment provider, as a father, as a human being, then I'm going to be able to actually help you.
I think family involvement is another area that has just been completely missed by the addiction industry. You know, family members, parents, spouses, kids, they want their loved one to be healthy, and they are 9.5 times out of 10 doing their very best, and they just don't have the skills to cope with the problem that they face.
Over 60 million family members nationwide are affected by their loved one's substance use, and only 2% of families who need help are actually receiving it. At CMC Foundation for Change, we recognize that families are the biggest untapped resource in fighting the rising toll of addiction in this country. Our mission is to arm families with evidence-based tools so they can effectively help loved ones who are struggling with substance use issues.
I think that what they're doing is radical and innovative and weirdly commonsensical. It's family-centered in a way that draws families together instead of driving them apart. It is the first time in 5 years that I actually felt hopeful and that I thought that my daughter might be able to live.
There's a different way to approach addiction and substance misuse. Never stop talking to them. When something like this touches somebody at their core, you got to be brave and willing to do whatever it takes. The question is, what does it take? And what do you have to do? The need to inform people with science and kindness that works. We've got to get the word out to as many trainers and many parents that are impacted or loved ones that are impacted. We've got to get that word out to as many people as we possibly can.
You ask any parent, you know, what's your prevailing feeling about your child? Kids who've been living on the street, kids who have extraordinary substance use disorders, what's your prevailing feeling about your child? I love my child. I love my child. And if you get that answer, there's hope.
So the mission of the foundation is to really get evidence-based treatments into the hands of family members, because for every one person with a substance use problem, there's at least one family member and probably 4 or 5 around them that are being deeply affected by that problem.
The thing that families hear over and over again is disconnect, disconnect, disconnect. Step away and detach. And we're talking about the opposite. We're talking about connect. How do you connect? How do you open up those channels? How do you make this a safe place where we can talk about this stuff? And that is a message that's just inherently incredibly hopeful for families and for parents. That's not the message they hear. That's our mission, to bring science and kindness into this arena, shine that kind of a light on it for families and professionals and the culture.
Learn more about our mission, the Invitation to Change approach, and our initiatives to help bring positive change to families and communities around the country.